At the weekend, a couple of days ago, obviously we saw the height of the action, Floyd Mayweather Jr. In action, so to speak.
Where was it?
It was in Mexico City. Now, again, you're trying to work out why this thing even happened, aren't you? Against John Gotti III, the grandson of the famous mobster. You said it before as well. I mean, you saw bits of it, didn't you?
I saw like little bits of it. Like I saw like Floyd refereeing his own fight. Is it right? Did he change the referee?
I believe so. Yeah.
So he changed the ref during the fight because I saw a clip, and don't get me wrong, the ref probably was being a bit harsh, but
it's an exhibition.
It's an exhibition. You can't really. I mean, Mayweather does what he wants, doesn't he? But I don't. Do you know what my thing is here? That someone please tell me if it's wrong in them. Might be an hypocrite here because someone said, if you got asked to work it, you probably would. And I absolutely would, you're right. But one thing I will say is...
$1 million Crolla.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get what the demand is to watch Floyd Mayweather, one of the greats, have an exhibition with a mobster's great-grandson or grandson. I don't get it. If someone can explain to me like what the audience is and who's like paying for it, who's tuning into it. Like, I'm not having that could have done numbers. Like, do you know, like people criticise like Misfits or, for instance, the Jake Paul Mike Tyson coming up, but there's an actual bout. There's a winner and a loser. Like, I don't. And listen, some of the Misfits is mad, but some of it's well matched, and from an entertainment point of view, it can be exciting sometimes because a lot of the times they're very crude, very raw. But at least the training for it and stuff like that, and which obviously Mayweather stays in fantastic shape in that. But when someone explained to me, like, I don't get why you would want to watch Floyd at his age now. How old is he now?
47.
47. Have an exhibition bout, like I say, with a mobster's grandson.
Well, it's also exactly 7 years since he retired at 50-0, and his last fight was against Conor McGregor.
Do you know that, by the way?
Which?
That was the most. There's people in places which must have earned millions, like high rollers, like the odds on Mayweather to stop McGregor was like mental. I think there was near evens or something like that. And
there were grown men tipping McGregor, weren't there?
There was grown men with children of their own. Like, I mean, seriously, those grown men who was doing that. And I'm not even saying the bad dads, but I reckon they should have been looked at. I really do, because how you could have tipped like someone making the professional debut to beat one of the all-time greats was just mental. Or like McGregor and stuff, but it was just insane. But I remember being at a Conor McGregor night. Honestly, like an audience with Conor McGregor. I met him actually, and he was dead sound. But for a split second, I had to slap myself because he had me believing, has he got a chance with Mayweather? Because it was before that.
He's a brilliant salesman, McGregor, isn't he? I mean, he's one of the best. But
it was unbelievable. But like, people was asking me, and I was thinking, you're not right. But one thing I did do, I said the same about Jake Paul and KSI with Tommy Fury. In this place, right, I remember flashbacks now, when Tommy Fury was fighting KSI, I had all the young kids, like little lad Jesse and his mates, and I was saying, KSI might win tonight. I was telling them to stop being stupid, and I was going bets with them. Having bets with them, I'm going, come and see me Monday, and if KSI wins, I'll give you 20 quid each. I very nearly had to give it.
I was going to say, it wasn't as cut and dried as you thought, even though he was just doing star jumps all night.
Yeah, it was mental, wasn't it? But listen, I know Tommy, like he's an influencer himself, but still, yeah. So, but the Mayweather McGregor thing was just utter madness.
That was the last competitive fight on paper, anyway, if you like, on his box rec, if that makes sense. But do you remember who was on the undercard? Another fella had his final fight that night.
His final fight. I should know this, but
the Croft twins, and you won't be too far away.
Oh, jeez. Do you know what? I know it was it, but did Savannah Marshall make a debut that night?
She was on that card as well.
Savannah Marshall made a debut that night.
He's a former world champion, bowed out against a very, very good campaigner who's still going.
Yeah. Jeez.
Welsh, obviously.
Yeah, no, the Welsh. I should really, really know this.
He's big pals of your friend Tony Bellew. Not really.
No, so Nathan Cleverly. Yeah. Who did he fight that night?
Padu Jack.
Padu Jack.
Yeah.
You know, Cleverly was madly underrated, wasn't he?
Yeah, very, very
madly
good.
underrated.
Very
good fighter. He just.
Yeah.
Do you know that night when he fought Kovalev? And I always say this: never judge a book by its cover. And like, but I remember my good friend Stephen Smith knocked Gary Buckland out on the undercard. Gary was flying at the time. But I just knew Stephen was going to do it. I remember Gary was absolutely, he was I think he was mandatory, more or less mandatory for a world title, thereabouts. And Stephen, he hit him with an uppercut. It was the scariest knockout I've ever been ringside for. It was an unbelievable shot. Well, that night, I'm sure it was that night, it was the night Kovalev fought Kovalev. And you know when he walked in and they just had this presence about him, and I'm not saying they weren't arrogant, but they just had this aura about him, and I thought, he's in trouble. I thought Nathan's in trouble tonight. You know, you just knew. I know that sounds uneducated from a boxing term, because you half knew how good it was and stuff like that. And he just had this sort of air of invincibility about him. And geez,
he was at the time, wasn't he?
He was unbelievable. Yeah. He was unbelievable. But no, Cleverly was madly underrated.
Yeah. And exhibition, 5th podcast, A, B, C, D, E.
E. Yeah, E. Exhibition.
Now, Josh is in charge, so we have to say to Josh, the producer, like, what do you reckon then, E? If we're going to look at the letter E, Sesame Street style. And he said entertainers. So if you think of entertainers...
the first one that comes to your mind straight away is Prince.
Well, I thought Muhammad Ali has got to be, if you think of entertainers, and I'm thinking more, people should go back and remind themselves, like, out of the ring.
Yeah.
His chat was beyond compare,
it was, and it was like...
some of the stuff he came out with
listen, Ali, be honest, I think he sort of half got it off a bit of a wrestler, didn't it? You know, like, he took bits from it, but like, now everyone who's tried to do things Ali done.
He's still unbeatable.
Yeah,
the way he carried on was just like no one else.
Oh yeah, no, without a doubt. Yeah, no one comes close sort of to Ali, but like sort of in my lifetime.
Oh, the Prince was
Naz was unbelievable.
And again, he was funny as well, wasn't he? And
he was brilliant. Do you remember he come out on probably a bit controversial now actually, but I've started, so I'm going to finish it. What was it on that thing? He come out on a flying car being wrapped to the ring off P Diddy or something like that. Was it the same one? Thought it was the same night.
Came out on the flame. Was that?
Then there's the graveyard with McCulloch. Do you remember that? At the time, that got a little bit of stick. I remember it. Oh, there was another one where he had like a stunt double. I was at that one against Paul Ingle from Scarborough. That Naz's entrances from listening.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Like, I'm trying to think what his best one was. That was that Manchester, I think. He come out on a car.
Just a hot stepper when he just danced into the ring was enough.
Yeah.
I mean, just him being.
There was so many, weren't there?
I think he must be. When you talk to fighters, today's fighters, he's the inspiration for so many. I mean, he must be
certainly around that area. Do you know what happened? Like, I think obviously around Manchester and that, you had Ricker and everyone want the long shots, the body punching and stuff like that. They inspire a generation, don't they? But Naz done that thing. Like, obviously the English gym at the Winker Bank, it's just unbelievable what they've done for some years. But he inspired like a generation, of fighters But like,
and you probably can't even estimate the amount of Asian fighters he inspired as well.
Oh, massive!
I mean, because he was across the board, wasn't he? It was incredible.
Don't know. The only thing with Naz, what was dangerous was where his hands was. There was a lot of people who tried to emulate him, and they become badly unstuck.
His reflexes were just something else, weren't they? I mean, he was
and his. I would have loved to have. I don't mean felt the power on the chin. Maybe now pretend to be a coach on the pad, but he was meant to just be. His power was phenomenal. Yeah, he had a set of legs on him.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can see where it came from with him. He was something else. So entertainer. So you're saying Naz. I mean, if you look now, if you asked anyone now who's the entertainer, they might say Ben Whittaker.
Yeah, controversial one, but no, he is an entertainer. No,
I mean, he's still emerging, obviously.
I think, but he's Ben. I was super talented, and you know what I always think about Ben Whittaker as well. When you speak to him off camera, soundest lad, nice guy, but obviously cameras goes on light, showbiz, he plays the bad guy a little bit, the entertainer. Teofimo Lopez, he's an entertainer for sure.
Well, there's plenty of them, isn't there? That's for different reasons, but I still think, again, your old pal, Loma.
Yeah, in a very different way. Yeah, what he does in the ring wasn't a showman before it, was it?
It's just... No. If you're not entertained by that, there's something wrong with
something serious wrong.
Yeah, you could say Ward Gatti, it's what you like. Carl Froch was entertaining, Nigel Benn was entertaining.
Yeah, it was just like entertainment, like they was in a different terms of like, you get, not in bad fights, Absolutely, but certainly in mine, I think, yeah, it's hard to just look past. Eubank?
Yeah,
Eubank Senior?
Yeah.
He was absolutely a showman.
Yeah. His son's taken that on to a certain degree.
Yeah, he has a little bit. Junior, no, he has a little bit. I think with Senior, though, as well, it was just the all, again, the presence, the, walk out and the mind games he'd play and stuff like that. But then he had
that turned on him, didn't he, with Steve Collins?
Yeah, of course. That was unbelievable, wasn't it? And I think, it just baffled him, didn't it? But do you know what? I'm going to watch back that fight.
Yeah. Well, he was all about grit, wasn't he, Steve Collins?
He's just a hard man. Listen, you know what that sounds like, underestimating him, but he was not unbelievably hard man, but he was one of Ireland's greatest fighters,
he'd gone away to the east coast of the USA, he'd gone to Boston, he'd learnt the hard way.
Yeah, he did.
Taken his licks, come back, and then made his name on these shores.
We still see Packy Collins, and I've a good guy, he does so much for the fighters over there.
And his other brother's a football manager, isn't he? It's a very sporty family, yeah. Roddy Doyle.
Collins.
He's the author, Roddy Collins. Yeah. But anyway. Other big news, Anthony.
Go.
Well, Eubank, since last week, actually, that card in Saudi was announced, wasn't it? Which the Beterbiev Bivol card, which has got a fairly incredible undercard as well.
No, it has.
With Chris being on there, but it was a bit of a surprise. Everyone was talking about where's he going to go and who's he going to fight and was there going to be a domestic one. But he's gone another way. Yeah,
to be fair, I'm digging him out, but he's got a bit of stick for it. But he has been out the ring for quite a bit. He's probably the least fight, you look at where you're like, well, it's where you had to box wreck the guy. And that's I'm not meaning to be disrespectful whatsoever. Where you had to box wreck the guy, whereas obviously, your Cardina, Shakur Stevenson, unbelievable fight. And listen, you've got to make Shakur a favourite, but I think Joe's going to be much better at lightweight. I think Joe's brilliant. I think he'll be much better at the higher weight. But yeah, tough one. It's going through obviously the main event. I'm sure we'll speak about that in detail, but going through it, listen, Liam Cameron, Joe, you mentioned before, Ben Whittaker, Liam getting his chance, fair play. If that's not inspiring,
no, his story's insane. For people that don't know, obviously he was banned.
He got a 4-year ban
substance.
For
he swears obviously he thinks he had been on notes or something. But a metabolic. What was it? What did he call it?
It was
not metabolic.
No, it wasn't. It was.
Anyway,
was it a mix of
it wasn't a performance enhancing.
It wasn't performance enhancing, and the amount that got found was the tiniest whatever. But the ban, when you look at some of the other bans, it was absolutely scandalous. Let's not pretend that the ban. It was treated disgusting. He's had a tough time. He, with his family, he lost the daughter and stuff. God bless him, and he stuck with it. He's very inspiring. He's lost a ridiculous amount of weight. He gave a great account of himself against the fight against Lyndon Arthur. Just come up short, and then obviously the what's it called? He's now got the Saudi the Saudi gym.
Well,
who else is on that now?
He's worked hard on that Steel City gym, hasn't he?
No, he has with Pace and Grant and stuff. Yeah,